Hi there, my name is Jamil. Welcome to the 8th devlog for Superstar Shooter 16. We're going to follow the usual format here. Tons to report on with the game, so we'll look into the demo roadmap progress. It's basically done. We'll talk about QA notes, community feedback. Then we'll talk about the full game roadmap, which has expanded a fair bit. Discuss some plans going forward, and then there's no gameplay section this time. Probably not going to bother with that going forward because there's a demo out, so you can just go check that out if you want to see what the gameplay is like. But there's going to be a ton of cool new stuff with the full game once it releases. So ahead of the free demo, I did a ton of work just to make sure that that went as smoothly as possible. There were a few hiccups. We'll discuss that after, but here's everything that's been done. So uh, detailed out the instructions. Did a bunch of work with my graphic designer. It's all done-ish. We're gonna do one more iteration on it for the full game, but what's there is certainly usable. Custom score screen. That actually didn't make it into the demo. We just went with local scores for the demo. But once we start using the online leaderboards, this is going to be useful. So it's done anyways. Custom ending screen for the demo, so that's there. Basically just says to go out and buy the full game once it releases. Rewired rumble setup and rewired controller is unplugged scenario. I put a ton of work into controls last weekend. It paid off in a pretty big way. Actually enhanced the way the classic controller works with this game quite a bit, and just expanded out controller compatibility. Really simplified my code, so that was a good thing to do. The next thing is, yeah, just classic controller updates. Not stuff to worry about. It's just kind of really nice polish, finishing touches that will make the experience that much better with the classic controller. Uh, yeah, roll issues after pausing the game, similar thing. That's just to do with the classic controller. So fixed all of that up. Should be good to go. Haven't had any issues with it yet. Better navigation buttons for the manual. So in game, there's a manual. You can go to it from the main menu. I just put some little artwork like a home button and left and right to flip pages. Very basic, but functional in my opinion. Completely disabling the FPS counter. This is one that was done. It's just kind of unnecessary. It looks kind of unprofessional for a game that's launching. So I'm confident enough that frame rates are between 57 and 60 pretty consistently. We don't really need it, so it's gone. Options menu cleanup. There was a lot of buggy stuff in the options menu that, for the most part, has been resolved. Force resolution to 1080p and disable graphics menu. This is where that massive bug came from that we had to patch. It's all good now. And Atari QA for the demo, that was with Kraz and Uncle Flip. That was, and Davpa, of course. And that's all done for the demo. So demo will not be getting any further updates. It is what it is. It's there, it exists. I'm moving on to focusing on the full game now. So QA notes. Make the demo a bit easier. That came from Uncle Flip. I've noticed a lot of people who've played the game struggled with it. They had fun struggling with it, which is good. But I do want to see people progress in the game. So I'm gonna make it a bit easier. The demo, like I said a moment ago, it is what it is. But for the full game, I'll make it a bit more accessible and slightly less challenging. Still got to be hard, but I think I went a little overboard. Game is a bit more difficult using the classic controller. This is just a general note from me. I'm also not of the era where joysticks were a huge thing. I had one as a kid, but I didn't use it a ton. I was hooked up to my dad's old computer. Anyways, so that might just be my own personal bias. I find the game quite a bit easier with the modern controller, so other people might too. But I'm big on classic controller support. I think it is super cool, so I really like the classic controller, but I find it a little more challenging. Anyways, horrible resolution bug on the day one launch for the demo. It's been fixed up, But thanks to everyone who pointed it out. Dad as a Joke was the first one to get it, and then I got messages from Hippie Kenny and Davpa. We took care of it the same day. I think the bug was discovered in the morning. We had it patched out by the evening. Control screen should only show the first time that the game is played. That came from Uncle Flip. It's a cool idea. We'll get that in the full game. Font sizes are inconsistent in the manual, and a few headings are missing in the manual, like for special abilities and roles. I'll also get that fixed up for the full game. More good news. So trailer was released. You can go check it out on Kraz Productions YouTube page. Uh, I love the trailer, so that's my thoughts. Lots of people seem to be liking it, so it's great. I got an interview booked with BCB for August 22nd. Um, if you have any questions you want to see discussed or anything like that, send them some notes. I don't know that the interview will release on the 22nd, but that's when I'm meeting with them. Generally speaking, the feedback for the demo has been positive. It's just I'm finding a lot of people were struggling, so yeah, I probably toned down the difficulty slightly. Not a lot, though. And special thanks to the following for covering the demo release. So BCB, Tiny Tim's Arcade, and Dad is a Joke. I think Kraz is going to make a video about the demo soon too, but that's on his schedule. Okay, so for the full game roadmap, so there's actually quite a bit here. So need to get the leaderboards working. I've done a lot of work on this already. I think I'll get it pretty quickly, but it's still not done. Electric fence enemy, that's got to be built out. Low health shield indicator, better damage indicators. We've discussed this a few times. Good things to do. Portals at the end of each level need to match the color scheme for the level. That's a really nice touch. That'll make things look better. Better high score screen. That was featured in the Kraz Productions trailer. I've actually got to set it up in the game. Include robot voice in the high score screen. That's a similar thing. That was in the trailer. It's not actually in the game right now, so I got to set that up. Spawn more firewalls later in the game. I still have this idea, like I want to make the first 15 levels or so pretty easy. And the second half of the game is going to be for hardcore score chasers. Like, we're stepping up. We want a healthy competition. Should be able to change special abilities. That's partially sort of done. Came with doing the FPS changes. I did enough of this to get the demo out the door, but it still needs to be finished. Add keyboard support for high score screen. This is a maybe. This one came from Uncle Flip. I think it's a good idea. But yeah, I'm guessing, I know some people are using keyboards with the VCS instead of the classic or modern controller. I see this as a nice to have, because it even without this support, like to just type in your initials for the high score screen, and this is only for the local high score screen, by the way. You can just do it with the arrow buttons and the enter key, so it's functional, but I get that it's kind of a pain. So yeah, if it's easy, I'm going to do it. If not, skip that one. Make level early levels easier, later levels hard. This is probably a duplicate, so it'll get done. Manual issues, so I mentioned those earlier. I'll get those fixed up. Control screen should only show the first time that the game is played. That came from Uncle Flip as well. That is an awesome idea, and I'm going to do that. It's not super hard for me to do either. Make barrel rolls a bit easier with the classic controller. From watching people play the game, I'm finding a lot of people want to use the classic controller, which is awesome because I've put a lot of work into it and I think it's super cool. But they seem to not be able to pull off the barrel rolls, or they're not using them as much as they could be. So doing more barrel rolls makes the game a lot easier. And I have a feeling it's just too hard for people. That spin has to be really quick, and for people who have maybe things like carpal tunnel or things like that, it might just be a bit too hard. So I'm going to make that easier to trigger. I'm not going to go overboard where it's constantly triggering, but I'm going to make it a little easier. Full game should have both local and online leaderboards. This is a point from Uncle Flip. I never actually thought of this, and it's a really good point because it's kind of like, oh, what if someone's internet connection fails? then they can at least have their score recorded in their local leaderboards. So I think that's an important one to do. Comprehensive testing before final release. That'll, of course, happen. The testing team is super engaged, so yeah. Chat with BCB, so that's plans going forward. That's on the 22nd, and he'll release it in his own time, but that's when we're meeting. Release the full game on Atari OS. That's obviously the next huge support. After the game's released, I'm booking like a month or two just to do support. If there's not many issues, I'm going to do marketing stuff for the game and work on my web page and start planning the next game a little bit. But I am going to be available if there's bugs with the full release of the game or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty squeaky clean at this point. But if there are issues, I got time booked to address them. And yeah, go check out the trailer. Go check out the demo on Atari OS. Releasing this has been a ton of fun for me. It's been super rewarding. Really enjoyed it. So thanks for everyone for your wonderful comments, the videos you've made, all the rest of it, the feedback I've received. Really appreciate everyone who's helped out with this. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.